Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. With Star Citizen patch 317 around the corner, there are some spectacular visual changes coming to the game. Small incremental changes, but overall some beautiful changes coming 317, which are going to change the face of this game, literally the face of the game, forever. I thought we'd take a look at it. Now, this was sent to me just yesterday. A small YouTuber named Aerody put this together. He has 975 subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to Aerody. Let's get him over 1,000 because he's done some beautiful work here. I'm going to full screen this and let's take a look at what he put together, which I think is a wonderful showcase of the changes coming. So, beginning with Hurston, take it away. Now, obviously an image we're familiar with, 316, Hurston, and don't think I need to talk too much about that because we know it's been coming for a while, but clouds. Lots of beautiful, fluffy clouds, and if I only had a better GPU, I'm still running on the 1080 Ti, which I think is an amazing card. It's doing very, very well. I've been holding out on upgrading. I'm stuck in the old cycle of, I'll wait for something better. So the 4000 series are around the corner. I'm probably holding out for that, because you need it to get visuals like this, especially when you're flying through atmosphere. This is so impressive. I think Microsoft Flight Simulator stand aside, because if you've flown through the atmosphere and you see the clouds, it's so realistic. They've done a wonderful job in that, and you just need yourself one hell of a GPU so you don't burn things down. So this is an interesting one. Tesla Spaceport, this is Lorville. I didn't think there was too much of a problem with the previous one. I'll pause in the middle there, but it looks like they've just kind of increased the contrast there. The darkers are a bit darker and the light is a bit lighter. I didn't think there was too much problem with the older one. I mean, you're out in this kind of a very dry desert kind of environment, so it's dusty, but I guess it's cranked up the contrast to make the colors and shades pop a little more. I like it, not bad at all. Coming up next, the hospital. So obviously big changes through there. I'm curious to know how much of a part this probably plays in Squadron 42, because they put a lot of time into developing this particular hospital here. Not because we spent too much time there in the game right now, but I think when this game probably does release back in the year 2029, we'll probably understand why they've taken so long to develop it. Beautiful statue there. Looks really, really good. But again, it's not something we spend too much time in the game right now in that area and location. I'm going to jump forward to Rivers. So this is a big thing. Now, I think we first had a look at the peak of a sneak peek at Rivers well over a year ago at this point. So immediately what you can see is the increase in the amount of trees. This obviously has to do with your performance on most PCs. If you want your PC to blow up, they'll put more trees in. But also keep in mind that Gen 12 renderer is coming in. It's going to make everything run a lot smoother by utilizing more cores on your GPU. And with that, as more people upgrade to better hardware, graphics can increase also. You have a nicer shot of exactly what we're talking about, and it's also worth mentioning at this point in time the amount of time that the devs, the engine devs, take to create these rivers. The problem here is this: Star Citizen is taking a long time to develop. Why? Because these tools are being created. So environmental artists, when they create the next moon or next planet and they want to stick rivers in, they click a point and they click the end point and the river just gets tossed in there with rocks, with vegetation, with everything you need to make it look realistic. Right now, this is a big deal because this is the first iteration of a river we have right now. But there's going to come a point in the near future, and I'll keep on talking over this refueling section over here, which is awesome to watch. There'll come a time in the very near future where you won't blink an eye to rivers or water or just lava flowing down a volcanic planet because it's using the same technology. It's just going to be there and it's just going to look right. It's taking them to this point in time to create the tool that environmental artists can just click on it and it'll do everything beautifully right away. Definitely worth it, and it's something which future generations of gamers will simply overlook when they are looking at rivers in Star Citizen. Jumping forward to the vehicle service screen, not too much changes in functionality, same thing, but they've removed these kind of icons for, I guess, a cleaner and more modern look of those. But what I do want to take a look at is the faces. Now, literally, the face of Star Citizen, the DNA hit textures have changed. 316, that's right there. Let's stop right over there. And you can see quite dramatic differences. So I didn't think there was too much of a problem with the previous ones. It didn't look too bad. But as we can see from this particular model right here, just the eyes, those blue eyes have been toned down a bit. They kind of popped a lot in 316, but in 317, a lot more realistic, a lot more natural looking. But let alone that, the skin. I thought the skin was okay. But now that you compare it to what they have now, look at the way the light is kind of diffusing of different subdermal layers. It's really scattering different. You can see the pores differently, and it's no longer as if the character simply smeared some foundation makeup over the skin. There's definitely a lot more detail to that. Different shades. You see the shade of the forehead is different to the shade of the cheek, to the shade under the eyes themselves. A lot more detail in there. Just get the whole one in. It's a completely new model. Skin tone is so much better. I didn't think the skin tones were bad in 316, but now that we can see the difference between them, yeah, definitely a massive difference in skin tone. So I don't use the female models too often. Let's just skip forward here to the male models, and I'll be able to probably give you a better... Yep, so this is a character head that I use occasionally. Let's see what they've done. Oh, night and day. This is more of an aged model, I guess. So the skin looks kind of smooth. It kind of looks like he took makeup, foundation, and dabbed it all over. But as we move forward here, take a look at the massive differences. We'll stop right in the middle so we can compare side by side. So immediately, what we can see is the eyebrows. A lot more details in the eyebrows themselves. The eye, obviously the blue eye, in particular this color, they've toned down a bit, doesn't pop it much, but take a look at the skin itself. You can see the frown lines on the head there, definitely. He's taken more sun damage over the years. As an older character model, you can see the differences in the shade of the cheek compared to where the eye is, the nose itself, you can see the pores. But more importantly, for those of us who have a bit of facial hair, it doesn't look like he's smooth as a baby's bottom anymore. Now you can see the actual hair follicles. For those of us with beards, even after we shave, 2 minutes after we shave, you can still see hair follicles where your beard used to be. So in the previous model, there was no hint at all of facial hair. Now, it's a lot more accurate, beautiful, nice, and so much more realistic. Let's look at the fat guy over here. So obviously British, possibly Irish. A lot paler. Again, the skin tones, very, very different. The default skin tones now, he's a lot whiter, but you can see that the nose and the cheeks are very different from the rest of the face, where in the previous iteration it was more uniform. So a lot more variation in skin colors on the same face itself. And obviously the eyebrows, well, this set of eyebrows, a lot more detail with them. Beautifully done. Let's take a look at the darker skin tone. Again, dramatic difference, huge difference. So this guy looks like he basically put a whole bunch of dark foundation on, very uniform, even though there's different levels of darkness in the skin here. If you take a look at the new model side by side, the actual pores on the skin are visible. You can see the shine on the nose. You can see this pores there where he had to kind of blur it out. A lot more detail to this. So much better. Massive, massive improvement. Hats off to the team that did this. I didn't think there could be much to improve, but massive improvement there. Same here. Big difference in skin tone. More of a pinkish hue on the right, and the new ones are more, I would say, more of a yellowish skin tone. This is clearly the face of a backer that backed the game back in 2012, and he's aged with the rest of us. Yeah, so look at the skin difference there. Definitely on the brow. Look at the crow's feet around the eye. That's a massive difference over there. And you see the line down there, down the side of the cheek against the nose. Definitely look like he's aged. A lot more accurate. This is probably the face model I'll be using because I think it matches what I look like, except yeah. Huge difference. Very nicely done. A lighter brown tone. A lot of detail there. Look at the pores on the skin. Again, this is kind of perfect lighting because it's the character creation. I don't know if you'll see exactly this much detail in the game itself. Well, you will, but in this lighting itself, you can just see the actual pores show up very clearly on that. Same with this guy, I guess more from a yellowish to more of a whitish, pinkish hue he's gone there. Looks so much more natural. Massive difference. Massive difference. Again. And if you ever want to create the character Teal'c from Stargate, this is the base face you use. But again, check the right-hand side in 316. Very kind of uniform, smooth, and soft. And left-hand side, every single pore can be seen. A lot more realistic, a lot more accurate. Look at the Asian skin tone there. It was a lot more yellowish and green. Now going for a lighter kind of pinkish hue, but you still see kind of the same skin tone just above the cheekbones and the foreheads. The nose being a bit of a different color. So much more accurate. And that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have the major differences and new faces in 317 coming our way. Again, if you can, please drop by our good friend Eridy's channel. Give him a sub. Let's get him over 1,000. And with that, let's wrap it up. If you enjoyed my video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.